So part two. So Vivek has no clue what, like when I speak 96, I mean, that was the Dole campaign. Was he even living here? And I mean, I knew that was a dud, but I became sort of invested in some, mentally, emotionally, and political minded speaking. I became invested in some of the local politicians, and um, and just listening, and it began a bit of that was sort of a real grassroots, not fake grassroots, sort of spiel here in the state of Wisconsin, where, and you know elsewhere, where people like Paul Ryan, who used to be, and I do say used to be, were cool. And these people were just coming up, like they just were running for alderman, or like in a Republican club or something, and decided to run for office. And all of a sudden, they're going further and further, and people, and they spoke for the people. And I know people, like even Trump said in one of his recent speeches that he thought Paul Ryan was a piece of shit. Well, yeah, he turned into one, but when I used to, drive 1,000 mile, 11 or 1,200 miles a week, Vivek, you little pussy, and drive through the farmlands between here and Janesville, which is where Ryan lived, in that area. I mean, the signs on the farms, and Paul Ryan, it was like everyone that was conservative that lived in the city was just like, God, I wish he'd be our, I wish we were in his district. He's so great. I mean, that's kind of how it was. I'm going back a long time now. Okay. When Vivek was like 11, 10. So you see what I'm saying? He's not old enough to be schooling me on shit. And I am insulted that Trump even, I don't know who he's appealing to or what he's appealing to, but it ain't working for, it's turning me off. And it shows me that he's got the wrong people once again. He needs someone to support him who's has the the shit behind him to do it and to say it. And this guy doesn't. Now you notice, like, people like Ron Johnson lately have been silent. Where the fuck is that guy? That's my senator. He's like gone. Because Wisconsin hates Trump. And honestly, it's they just do. Okay. Now, let's look at how Wikipedia puts his page together, because that'll tell us everything we need to know. He's an American entrepreneur. I wouldn't give him that. He's a self-employed dude whose mom gave him money, and politician, because he made a couple of speeches. Oh, for fuck's sake, I could have done that. Oh, for Pete's sake. I'll call myself a politician. I used to have people calling me up. Can you please put your sign in my yard? And I'd say, oh gosh, I already promised so-and-so I'd put it in put the sign up. I was involved in local politics big time. Has he ever been involved in local politics? You see what I'm saying? If he would have started at the bottom, I'd be able to give him I'd be able to say, okay, I get it. He hasn't done shit. He's lived in the lap of luxury. And he doesn't know, he doesn't have a United States Marine Corps father riding his ass every day of his life like I did. And I really mean that. And I remember, when I overheard my dad talking to my husband, he said I ran that house like a boot camp, and he did. And I had two uncles. All my other uncles, all of them fought in World War II. My dad was too young, so he was in Korea. But he said he wanted the best. He didn't want to be stuck in the Navy. So he enlisted in the Marines before he could be drafted into another branch of the military. And then he soared to the top of that. As an enlisted dude. But I mean, he was huge. He beat his DI instructor in hand-to-hand combat. What did your daddy do? Or what did your mommy do? Give you money? He's a politician. Okay. He founded Roivant Sciences, a pharmaceutical company. He's part of the problem. In 2014, okay. And that's all they say about it. In February 2023, he declared his candidacy for the Republican Party for the U.S. 2024 election. And then he suspended it in Jan 2024 after finishing fourth. He got 8,000 votes. He's a nothing. He's a zero in my book. Because he doesn't support stopping the genocide. Mainly. He was born in Cincinnati to Indian immigrant parents. What does that mean? Because today, were they legal immigrants? Were they migrants? What were they? Because to my knowledge, mommy was still working in India or doing a lot of shit there. He graduated from Harvard. How did he get into Harvard right away? Being first generation Indian. With a bachelor's in biology and later earned a law degree from Yale. How did that happen? Because that just doesn't happen by accident. Born in 1985, parents from India, ends up in Harvard and Yale. What are the chances of that happening? He's just that all-American boy with that all-American identity. I don't think so. Because that's someone pulled strings, someone had money, and didn't he get some grant or something like that from George Soros? You know what I'm saying? It's just like this guy he's oozing in bullshit. But even Wikipedia is giving him a pass. So it's really bullshit. He's part of the deep state. Deep state. That term first came about in like 2015-16. Please don't speak in that like mode. I don't know if that's the right way for me to put it. I mean, he's speaking in like that's supposed to connect with like QAnon people or something. Like he's trying to connect with people and sound, I'm a redneck. No, you're not. You got 10 people per rally you did. We've counted them on this channel. Like you got 8 to 10 people to show up, dude. And he's a politician. Oh, come on. I don't think so. And this is a Yale and Harvard guy? Yeah, he's real smart. Um, and P.S. by the way, I mean, my boss is has a degree in biology and was a professor here at UWM, nearby college. And boy, he spent 10 years or maybe 15 working on his product to get it approved by the FDA. And he worked with a German physician, a German surgeon at the medical college here in Milwaukee, and hired me to take over his accounts. I was shocked that he thought I could handle it. The first time we went to Chicago to sit down just with a few various scientists to talk about it, I know medical terminology, but it was so much, and I knew that it would be hard for me to memorize and study. And after the meeting, he said, "You got this, don't you, Colleen?" And I'm like, yeah. And I thought to myself, holy shit, I don't think I can do this. But guess what? I did. But he taught me. He helped me memorize um, memorize different things that I needed to know. And I work with memorization. I mean, my learning process works well with memorizing various things that I need to remember, know, or share with other people. And it ended up working out, but I was very unsure of myself at first. And even my dad then said, "Hey, what are you doing?" I spent $76 on a fax machine, and he called me up and bitched me out. I was making $800 a month when I started. I was at six figures within a couple of years. And I mean, it's just, but that's what you used to be able to do. This is what I'm saying. Vivek doesn't know what that's like. Is any of this clicking with you guys? Okay. So again, you don't just go from, oh, and then he talks about Reagan. You have to be real special and on a special ladder with lots of special dispensation to be born here in 85, to Indian immigrants, to go to Harvard, to go to Yale. Doesn't that remind you of Obama in a way? Who never even showed up. I don't like him. Then he had a law degree and a biology degree, but he went to run a hedge fund, which is where he pumped and dumped. And then he co-founded a sham investment firm. I just called it sham because hedge funds are shammy. He claims the United States is in the middle of a national identity crisis precipitated by what he calls new secular religions like COVIDism, climatism, and gender ideology. He's also a critic of environmental, social, and corporate governance initiatives. In January 2024, Forbes estimated Ramaswamy's net worth at more than $960 million. His wealth comes from biotech and financial businesses. Okay. Again, this doesn't happen by accident, and that is a massive number. I want him as far away from Trump as possible. This guy is nothing more than a Hindu version of Mike Pence. I'd say a used car salesman, but I don't think he'd be able to last. He couldn't even handle, like, he would record himself on this bus for these meetings where he got 10 people per meeting. Okay? 10, 12, tops, 15. I didn't even see 20 people there. And I was watching all of them and counting. All you need to do is slow down the videos and look at them and count heads and watch and be observant. And I mean, I am right about these things. And for him to tell me what our national identity is, oh, no, don't dare. No. So what he's basically doing is talking Fox News talking points. You get my drift? It's just all Fox News talking points with a yellow face saying it, you know. I mean, no. Now, I will say something really weird. I mean, I am finding some really strange people in my neighborhood. I mean, there's a man transitioning as two men transitioning as women nearby, and it's a little weird. One is at a gas station, like a couple blocks down, and the other is at a grocery store. He calls himself Hazel. One of them does. The other one, and a relative owns this business, and I'm like, I can't believe what he's doing. So his parents are Tamil-speaking Brahmins from Kerala. Yeah, it's just your average guy next door. His father, V, what does V stand for? Ganapathy Ramaswamy. What does the V stand for? So he's an engineer and a patent attorney for GE. Oh yeah, there are tons of Indian. Yeah, because let me tell you, when a friend of mine, I know a lot of people that have worked for GE, because we have a big, huge, well, had one. Obama shipped a hell of a lot of it over to China, the entire X-ray division. But there is a huge GE facility here, and a lot of people would go there and rise to the top, go from file clerk to international human resources specialist. I knew a woman that did it, and she went to India all the time to recruit engineers and bring them over. She retired, and took her stock. I know a lot of people, they like, and at the time of Obama, they just had to leave the company. I mean, there was nothing there for them anymore because he had shipped so much of it out of the US. I could go on. And they were making lots and lots of money when they left. So they had enough to cushion themselves and just basically kind of retire early or go into another job and still make quite a bit. Well, his mother, Geetha Ramaswamy, a graduate of Mysore Medical College and Research. Where is that? Worked as a geriatric psychiatrist. Oy. His parents immigrated from the Palakkad district in Kerala, where his family had an ancestral home in a tradition of Agraharam in the town of Vadakanacheri. Just your average American dude. Oh, he had a conservative Christian piano teacher. Oh, did they go into the Schofield Bible? Let's talk about the Schofield Bible if we have time.